Hey everyone, my name is Leslie Ohnstad. I'm with ColourArte. And for the past 14 years, I have been sitting on my work table mixing custom pigments for the hobby craft market. Primary Elements, arte-pigments is the name of the product. And I'm going to apologize that yesterday I did the videos on my swipes and I had the TV on in the background the entire time. I couldn't believe it. So I thought, well, maybe this is an opportunity to actually show you how to mix up our colors at the same time while I show you how I did that piece again. So in this cup I have 1 teaspoon. Actually, that's kind of heavy. A half a teaspoon probably would have been enough, but I have a teaspoon of Stargazer Primary Elements. The label's kind of dark. Hopefully you guys can see it. The Primary Elements from ColourArte.com. And I've added about 1 ounce of the Vivid Clear Enamel. Now, the primary elements are designed to mix with any water-soluble medium, water-based polyurethane. You're not limited to our mediums. We just happen to offer this one. I like the enamel because I like the finish how it dries. So in this particular batch, I am using 1 ounce of the Vivid Enamel, a teaspoon of the pigments, and I'm going to start mixing. The Vivid's pretty thick, so it's going to feel like a typical acrylic paint. Let's see if I can get a close-up on this. It's going to have a little bit of body to it, so we're going to have to thin it down just like any other paint we're doing pouring. Of course, the one step we're doing is we're actually mixing the pigments in the color. Hopefully you guys can see that color in there. Okay, so we need to add a little bit of water to thin this down. I don't necessarily use pouring medium or SILICONE in every one of my pours. Last night I didn't, so considering the cells that I got, I'm not going to again. I'm going to take that risk. When you add your water, you want to do it a little at a time. I realize this could be the boring part of the video, and yet how you mix your paints is probably one of the most important factors in having success. I've met some artists that believe in having different viscosities. I've met artists that says have 2 different paint brands. We have some wonderful artists out there on YouTube testing different acrylics to find out which ones give us cells. And recently yesterday actually, I broke down and bought a different paint for my black and white, and I'll show you that in a minute. So if you notice, I keep adding a little bit of water to this. What I'm looking for is I want it to stick to the stick, but I want it to flow off easy, but not flow off like water. It should flow off in a nice, consistent pour, but not watery. It should be a smooth, even pour. Okay, so that's my Stargazer. I'm going to use my WD-40 Specialist Water Resist Silicone Lubricant. A couple shots. Actually, it's a lot of paint, so I put in 3. Mix that up. This paint's ready to go. Okay, let's pan out just a little bit. The other colors on my table made out of the pigments is, pardon my recycled popsicle sticks. Once they dry, I'll put them in there, and they're not really going to stain the paint. Sorry. This is Ginger Flower, which is a very deep hot magenta, and a violet pearl. Now the color bases in the primary elements are very clean, semi-transparent to transparent. And transparent iridescent colors work very well with matte acrylics. They can show depth color through color. When you layer a transparent color over to the top of an opaque color, you will see color through color. You'll see the color on the top and the color beneath. So part of the trick of what I did yesterday was using my transparent pigments mixed in the enamel base or any other acrylic base and some pouring medium, mixed with some nice matte color. Now, this color is Ginger Peach. It's a nice burnt yellow, bright orange. Ginger Flower, Stargazer. Okay. Then for the matte acrylic, I went and found, it took me a while to hunt this down, some Artist Loft black. I got some of their green. It actually looks like, let me pan the camera out. It looks neon. It's really green, and they just call it green. This color is just called green. And I got some white. So what I've done so far is I've mixed up the green. It came out pretty thick. I had to add quite a bit of water. This only had 1 little ounce of paint squirted on the bottom, and it looks like it's made almost 3 ounces of color. You just add the water a little at a time. Don't ever dump in a bunch of water and expect to break it down very easily. You have to think of making gravy or sauce when you mix butter and flour together and gradually add the milk or the broth to make your gravy. I also have the Artist Loft Black. It's been mixed down. Ginger flour. And I'm actually going to line them up in the order that I'm going to use them so I don't screw this up. Yesterday I started with the black first, then I layered some green, then I layered some of the ginger flower, then I layered some gold. Now yesterday I used the Artist Loft Gold. This is actually our Solar Gold mica, just straight mica mixed in the enamel. And then the Stargazer in the first one. I didn't have Ginger Peach in that first one. And then I have my white. I'm going to do a slightly different, but it's still the same technique. I think I'm going to do the final one that had the Ginger Peach in the center. I really like how that looked. And when I did the double swipe, I actually put color on each end that I intended to swipe back over the other color. Okay? So, a needle and a thread. I'm going to add some back here. Oops, I did not mean to do that, did not want to do that. That's going to change my piece slightly, but that's what happens with art. Literally painting with your finger painting with a popsicle stick. Kind of cool. I don't necessarily want a straight line, so I'm just going to kind of. Yesterday I didn't get the edges very well either. Tonight I am. I'm going to make sure my edges have the color on them. Okay. See if I can get a little bit closer up on this so you can see it. Okay, now let's add, this is the Artist Loft Green. Oh, I don't think I put silicone in the green. So excited I was doing another video. Okay, so what I did last night, there is no silicone in the black, okay? But there is silicone in every one of the colors. And I just mixed up this green and forgot to put the silicone in it. Almost blew that. Make sure I got an extra little shot in every one of my other colors. Some of these are colors from the other day, some of them are not. I'm going to make sure there's just plenty of silicone in there. Alright, now let's continue. The silicone, it makes the paint act silly. So, let the paint kiss. I don't want to be wasteful. I want to spread it nice and even. And actually, the double swipe had, the last one I did the black on the end. I'm going to swipe black back and forth. So while I'm applying the black and the green, I'm going to do it on either end. Dribble some of this fabulous green down here. I love this color. When the Stargazer in this color mix, it makes the most beautiful opaly teal, because the transparent color in the Stargazer layers on top of the opaque color of the artist's Loft, and you see the color through color, which gives you that opalescent look. Pretty, pretty cool. Okay. First color going down mixed with the pigments is the ginger flower, kissing right up against this electric green. Be careful, I just got my elbow in this. You could be neater and do it all the way down and remember how to do it at the end, but for me, to make sure I'm balancing this out, this kind of works for me. So I don't forget something. I'm going to get my sides here with this pink so I don't forget my sides. To look more uniform. Again, I'm not looking for an even stripe. Now we're going to add some of the solar gold. This is just straight gold, mixed with the vivid clear enamel. And this batch had some water-based polyurethane in it. If I remember, I made this a long time ago. Figured I'd use this up. I'm not sure what that one little black dot's going to do that dribbled in there, but oh well. Okay, now on the bottom, I'm going to have, or the other end anyway, this is still centered, yeah. I'm going to add the Stargazer. I kind of don't want to pour it, because if I pour it, I'm going to get heavy-handed. I realize it's a little bit more time-consuming to popsicle a stick maybe, but it makes the color more random, and I'm going to have plenty of paint here to do a couple canvases. I'm going to do a second one with the same color combination, but with a twist. So that's why I'm not pouring the paint on. I'm going to save as much of this paint as possible and not waste any of it. We waste enough paint when we get bad pours. We don't need to waste paint on purpose. Kind of like in making the random uneven texture here. Okay, since I have it made this time, last time you didn't see it, the one that had the TV on, I grabbed the ginger peach at the end. Oops, didn't mean to do that. my sides. Make sure my sides are covered. Got to tell you, this is very freeing. Applying the paint on the canvas randomly, not worrying about what it specifically looks like at that moment, all the way through to watching the cells pop is very, very, very healthy. I think I'm going to put some ginger flower here. I don't know, I might have just blown it. Just doing this intuitively, whatever makes me feel right at the moment. I do like how the ginger flower and the Stargazer look when they run together. Let's be bold. Put some of the Stargazer right up against that wonderful ginger peach. Orange and blue goes well together. Stargazer is a violet blue. It changes with a green pearl finish when it dries. Very interesting color. Fun to put in pieces like this. You feel like, you know what, oh, I need some kind of control. Or you have to give up control. You can't have control when you do this. So I've gone black, green, Stargazer, ginger peach, ginger flower, the gold. You know, I don't know. Something's telling me to do this. I do like how what happens when the turquoise and the green went together. I mentioned out about that area below. This is going to be a little bit crazy, but aren't they all? That's the cool thing about this process. They're all kind of crazy. And I think I'm going to put the sun gold in here. I think that's a big area. I don't want that much gold in there. So I may fill that in with green, which makes more sense. Oh no, I know what I'm going to do. Never mind, I see it. I'm going to put some of that orange in here, why not? Ginger peach, solar gold, ginger flower, Stargazer, and the primary elements mixed with the enamel. Artist Loft, green and black. I'll draw a little orange into there. Yeah. Okay, well this is pretty close to what I did yesterday, but a little bit more intent today. Let me get my cups out of the way so I don't accidentally knock anything over. Looks like I have some little white space in here to fill in. You definitely don't want gaps once we do this. I just need to make some room to get my acetate. Okay, so acetate paper. It's clear plastic paper. Okay, I actually got these from my gel press plate because they come packed with this to preserve it. And on my biggie plate, I think this thing is, what, 24 by 15 or 14? Pretty amazing. You get 2 of them. So I'm very excited. You can buy sheets of acetate at Joann's, but why not use it because it's reusable. Okay, so let's see how close I can get this so you can actually watch the process. Not much closer than that. Okay. So I'm going to lay the acetate paper down in the black and let it just kind of pick it up, and then drag the black paint over the top of the other colors. And because I've committed, even though that is really beautiful right there, to do a swipe up, part of me wants to. Yesterday I actually wiped my acetate off before I swiped up. I think I'm going to do that again. Give me a second. Oh my God, that is so pretty. Do I really want to mess with that? Oh my God, those look like flowers. Ah! I don't know if I want to do the double swipe on this. This happens every time. Do you or don't you? Do you or don't you? Look at this. Looks like a thing of greenery and then little heads of flowers starting to form. Okay kids, I'm going to do the double swipe on the next one. And I'm getting my torch out on this. Sorry. I'll show you double swipe. This just is turning out too cool to mess with. Got my torch. Not that I need any help with cells. But if I can wake up some of the green on top, that would be nice. I think that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm liking what's happened below. I don't think I need to really encourage it. But the black will speckle that green through. Hopefully enough will pop. That's the only thing. The double swipe, I guaranteed I would have had some more green on the top, but I am really, really, really liking this. I don't want to mess with this now. The top needs a little bit of the black replaced because I guess the acetate picked up a lot of it. So I'm going to touch that up. Boy, you know what I'm going to do? I've not seen you guys do this. I'm going to take a brush and see if I can't. Hope I don't screw this up. Just add little dots of color. I'll start over here where there already is color. Maybe add some dots of the green where I'd like it to come through as an accent. Reminds me of little pieces of pollen coming through. I know this is not a typical pour, but why not touch it up? Add this little accent of the green, because I know when I did my double swipe last night, when I pulled it both ways, I got a lot of really great green freckles on the top. And I just kind of like that little bit of accent, oops, above that pink. Oh, wow! I'm telling you, I'm blown away, guys. Totally blown away. I'm surely glad the TV set wasn't on this one. See how close up we can get to see the cells. I really don't want to disturb them. Wow. Oh my God. Unbelievable. I see something right there. Oh, is that just a reflection? I guess that's just a reflection from the lamp. I was wondering what this white spot is, but I guess it's light. Yeah, it goes away. I like what's happening here, what's forming in here. Oh. I want to get my camera and shoot this right now while it's wet. Unbelievable.